Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a twin flame channel and Western astrologer, and this is a meeting about haha. This is a reading about the full moon in Aquarius 2020. For those of you who are on a twin soul journey, I thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing. And let's see, what can I tell you about this full moon? It is one of my favorite full moons of the entire year because of the ways in which it is calling all of us home to ourselves and forcing all of us to take a better look at who we are, where we're at, what we want, why we want it, etc. So that we're not manipulated by our wounds, and instead we can tend to our wounds and heal them because they're exposed to us now in a way that they previously hadn't been. This full moon takes place on August 3rd, 2020, at 11:58 a.m. Eastern. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, please check a time zone converter for your local time. Let's just see. I'll kind of map out the generals and then dive into what, the two energies I read as a twin are doing. We've got this full moon square. Here's our full moon right here, square Uranus. And this tends to be surprise information coming forward, truths about ourselves coming to light. But because tends to be about groups, and Aquarius tends to be about groups that we're a part of, Uranus being about the divine self, this may be surprising information coming forward from our divine self about the way we've been participating in groups, but also the way that people have been interacting with us. We've also got a trine to Juno by this full moon. So here's Juno, whom I read as the divine feminine, in trine to this full moon. And Juno's not at her most comfortable at this moment, I'll tell you guys. She's really getting a good run for her money from this very challenging energy out here in Aries that's forcing divine feminine energies to focus on wounding, some of it from childhood, given that we've got sun involved by trine as well, but also some of it, that she's allowed to happen from the hands of others. Gosh, I wish I could draw better. So yeah, there's wounding up for divine feminine energies, and we'll get into more of that in a minute. But much of it has to do with childhood woundings that are resurfacing now in our partnerships, and the ways in which those partnerships are forcing us to deal with ourselves and deal with what's at the root of some of our behaviors. Then we've got this moon sextile Chiron. So here's the moon again, speaking in harmony to Chiron, Chiron also being about wounding. There's just something about this lunation that's really forcing us all to deal with our wounds directly and to find the wisdom in the wounding. So yeah, just know that this isn't the most fun full moon. However, it is one that is going to force us to grow and be better people as a result of it. Let's get into what the twins are doing. If you want to take a deeper look at some of this stuff for yourself, personally, I highly recommend a personal reading. There is a link below this video in the description box that will take you to a website where you can book a reading with me. So just have a look for that link if you want to book a reading. I'm currently booking into the month of September. Know that readings with me are typically always about 4 to 6 weeks in the future from the time of booking. It's very rare that you can just pop into my calendar for next week. It doesn't really work that way. So if you're okay with a little bit of a wait, then I would love to read for you, because fortunately and unfortunately, the energy that I just described is going to be the energy of the rest of 2020. Because this energy in Aries is the energy in Aries for the rest of the year. And it's what's really coloring a lot of some of the energies that we've been seeing with people tapping into wounding, dealing with triggers from childhood. And this energy in Capricorn has been the energy in Capricorn for the 7 months prior to this, and now for the 5 months after this. This is what it is. There's not much movement from a lot of the other planets. This is really the way we're rolling for the rest of 2020. So it's important to know how this energy is really what it's asking you to look at, since it's going to demand that you look at it. It's going to be pretty relentless about it. Okay. So Juno trine the moon, we talked about divine feminine talking to the moon. We also talked about divine feminine opposite this Mars conjunction with Lilith and Eris in the sign of the individual. She sits in the sign of partnership. So this is triggers inside of us popping up in our partnerships at this time. For divine feminines and for feminine energies, the wounding is up. It's there. And if you're not feeling it or seeing it, I would ask you to just not only pay attention to what other people around you are mirroring back to you, what you're paying attention to, because your consciousness, what you can see in the mirror, has to do with what it is there is to work on within. But also be very gentle with yourself. This is not the easiest kind of look in the mirror that we're getting. It's a bit of a like, oh, ouch, that doesn't feel so great to look at kind of situation. But thank God I can see it. Now I can do something about it situation. She's also in a square formation to the divine masculine. And here he is. I read him as Jupiter. They were the divine counterparts that govern Mount Olympus. And with a square energy, we do get tension. We get non-flowing, non-harmonious energy between these two divine counterparts. And so, it's really important to have a look for, where the feminine energy in you is just triggered by what your counterpart is doing or not doing. And to just notice how that might pertain to a wound from childhood, given the other conversations that she's having at this time. Wounds from childhood are being directly indicated for divine feminines to look at and will be for the remainder of the year. There may be a real sense for divine feminine energies that, you need and you want different things right now than your counterpart. And those different things may be starting to surface. You may be becoming aware of like, oh, wow, yeah, I need this thing. And it's not quite what my counterparts needs. And it'll be really evidenced in what they're doing and in what they're thinking. You'll start to recognize that what your counterpart is acting on and what your counterpart is saying. If you peek underneath that, you can identify what the true priorities are for your counterpart. So pay attention to those patterns and just notice where they're just not the same for you. And that's okay. It's okay to have different needs. It's okay to want different things. It's okay to be working on different goals. There are times in the sky when these energies are on the same page. This isn't necessarily one of them. And if you're in a semi-union state or path to union, this is where the rubber will really hit the road in terms of, okay, how do we logistically, concretely in the 3D world make this work given where I'm at and where you're at? This is where there will be more motivation between you to really iron out details, which is exciting. We've also got what we call a yod to Juno in the sky. Here's Uranus, and the yod is called Finger of God. And then we have Ceres and Nessus. So here they are down here. And then here's Juno, but then here's this energy between Uranus and then Nessus Ceres. For a lot of divine feminines, this is going to be indicative of very sudden motherhood woundings. And so you want to pay attention to What template did you inherit from your mother about relationships, about motherhood, and about love? Whether it was spoken or shown to you, this particular full moon will illuminate for you what you've subconsciously been using as your operating system, and where it is time to draw the line in the sand and say, Mom, that was your life. This is my life. I release needing to carry your experiences so that you don't feel alone, so that I don't feel like I'm betraying you. I get to have my life. Thank you for bringing me into the world. I release your experiences in love to move forward with the ones that I want to have and create in love. This is a really good time to get healing around your feminine energies, a really good time to get support around what does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be a woman in partnership? What does it mean to be a single woman? What does it mean to be a young woman, an older woman, a woman who has kids, a single mom, a married woman, whatever your wounding template is? This is the moon under which to plan out your path to freedom so that you can let that go and move forward in your life, divine feminines. Okay, divine masculine energies. We have talked about this extensively. We've got Jupiter hanging out down here, talking to Pluto. This was an energy that really covered May, June, and July. And it's the energy of 2020. They meet up 3 different times. There's just not a period of time really where that energy isn't present. And it's a real stripping energy for divine masculines. It's a real energy of feeling like, okay, I gotta come correct. I gotta get clear. What am I doing? What am I doing? How am I doing it? I can't keep messing around. Not that you're messing around, but whatever area of life in which you might say that to yourself, divine masculine energies, you might be saying that to yourself around finances, around home, around relationships, around your kids, whatever it is, around, higher education. You may be saying that in some area of your life and going, okay, I got to stop messing around. I got to get serious here. And that we all are having that experience this year in our masculine driving force energies of going, okay, I got to get serious in this area of my life. So if you're curious about what area of your chart that is, a personal reading is the best way to map that out. Like I said, we've got this energy all the way through December. So book that reading. We'll meet up in September and we will make sure that the last 4 months of this year are bang on getting you on track. There's death of ego in this. There's sacrificing a something so that there's actually room for our feminine energies to come home to us. There's a sacrificial nature to this Jupiter-Pluto meetup where there's a bit of something that we have to let go of so that a new something can be born. And that new something is coming in and heralded by our internal feminine energies. And so it's important to recognize what that is. I spoke to a client of mine this week who, has the gift of painting. And we were talking about how important it is this year to reclaim that by sacrificing some of the hold, his divine masculine energy had over his life because he had gotten himself to safety. He's good now, but the part of him that paints, that creates, that holds the divine feminine energy inside, it's time to bring that part home and integrate that part too. And so the sacrifice is letting go of some of the ideas that part of him could stay locked up. That part has to get integrated with the rest. And so whatever that is for you, if you've got a creative side that you're ready to bring home, if you've got a love interest that you've been betraying so that you can be loyal to something else, if you've got a business that you want to start or a business that you have started, but it's the cost of keeping it going is a betrayal to something else that also really matters, that's the kind of thing that's going to get exposed under the light of this full moon. So look for the places where you are betraying yourself to maintain loyalty to something else that has long since been dead in your life. That's what Pluto wants to take away, is the thing that's long since been dead. That old agreement, that old contract, that old promise to yourself, those are the things that Pluto's like, nah. You're not going to continue to betray yourself in order to maintain loyalty to something that is dead. It is time to let it go. And that's especially in particular because we've got this Jupiter-Pluto square, the creation goddess here, not just Juno, but specifically the creation goddess. This is about letting our creativity out, bringing our creativity home, and what it is we want to manifest on planet Earth, allowing that to flow forth from us. It's really important to remember here that with this heavy energy happening down here in Capricorn, the leading energy here is Saturn. The planets all flow counterclockwise. Here's Saturn, and Saturn's really been sowing the seeds for all of these energies that follow behind it to operate in a very particular way. Saturn's energy is about integrity and wholeness, and about coming home to wholeness, coming home to integrity, being complete within ourselves. And Saturn does that in a very particular way, divine masculines. When something isn't whole anymore, but we're still trying to cling onto it, Saturn will strip it from us. It'll take it away when it's compromising our wholeness, when it's undermining who we are and how we're meant to be. Saturn will cut it off. So just know that that's an energy here, that, you know, if there's anything that is withering or dying or breathing its last breath in your lives this year, look for the ways in which it was supposed to go, because it was compromising who you are, so you can make peace with the release. Okay. Square Mars. Right. So here's divine masculine. Here's Mars, both at 19 degrees. There is a 90-degree angle here. In Aries, there's a bit of an over-ambition with this to get what we want at all costs. That's kind of the shadow side energy here. There is a willingness to pay any price. And I mean, you just need to look around in the collective to kind of see, just turn on the news and you'll be able to see, wow, people really are willing to pay any price to do their own thing right now. Interesting. And so just be mindful of that, because much of where that is coming from are woundings. That willingness to pay any price it's a desire to fill a hole that other people didn't make. And so sometimes there's this willingness to let other people pay the price for a hole that wasn't created by them. The energy can be a little passive aggressive, where it's like, I'm not really going to tell you what I want, but I'm just going to go get it because I don't want you getting in my way. So be mindful of that, especially because there is a lot of loss energy. Our masculine energies internally have taken a lot of blows this year. And so in this reconstructive period of our lives, 2020, 2019, 2021, this reconstructive period is about learning how to let go of the ways we've been flexing our masculine muscles at the cost of our own femininity, at the cost of our own freedom, at the cost of us being true self, best self, real self, pure self. Okay? There is also, with the Jupiter square Mars energy, and Mars having already spoken to Chiron, a real recognition of where, you know, some of our ambitions have just been really thwarted, where it's like our dreams have just been stepped on. And wounds to our ambition are up. Who we think we are, what we believe we're capable of, how we go about creating it, our capacity to have what we want, all of that. This full moon is asking us to end patterns of sabotage to our self-esteem. So places where you have just kind of, you know, in the video game, like you just kind of like killed your own character before, you know, that big scary monster could. This is kind of that moment where it's like, oh, I do keep killing my character. Let me stop self-sabotaging. Let me pay attention to where, you know, what my dreams really are and actually be honest and congruent with myself. Let me get in integrity with what I really want here and stop pretending to myself that, you know, I don't actually want the thing that I want. Let me get real with myself. And so this particular lunation is asking us to do that both with our actions and with our belief system. Whatever it's been before, however we feel like we have failed before, or we feel like why bother or why try again, wherever we have told ourselves the story of not good enough, the universe is asking us to honor the past wound and the trauma to our dreams and our capacity to fulfill them. Honor the wound for what it is, but then heal yourself up, and don't let that wounding dictate your future by overreacting to it and stepping on everyone's toes, or denying that dream and pushing it even further away when it's so close to your grasp at this time. Yeah, so it's important to look at it. Yeah, it's important to look at it. That's the best I can say. You know, whatever your dreams, hopes, goals, ambitions are, now's the time to really just be honest. Be honest about what you really want. Be honest with yourself. Okay? If you'd like to have a look at all this plays out, definitely click that link below this video in the description box. We can set up a personal reading to do that. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe. I love new subscribers, and welcome you to the tribe. Definitely give this video a like, and I look forward to reading for you again very soon. Take great care. Bye for now.